Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video, we will look at a React.js library which allows you to do two things at one time, which is form validation, and also at the same time, it will show you a loading progress bar or spinner after you submit the form. So we have a simple form inside React.js. If you see, we have two fields out there. First is the name and secondly is the email address, and then we have a simple button. So now if I don't write anything and click the button, you will see the error messages will pop in. Name is required, email is required. So if I write the name but don't write the email, once again the message will stay. And then if I submit by entering the name and the email, you will see this loading progress bar which will show. And then you will see form submitted successfully. So there is a specific library inside React.js which allows you to do this, which is React hook form. This is actually the name of the library. Basically, it's a hook, custom hook. It's almost very popular library, almost 6 million weekly downloads. It's used for various purposes. This is the command here, npmi react hook form. I've already installed it. So basically, I will show you step by step how to do this. So just make a simple functional component in React.js. So right here at the very top, we will first of all import the library. So there is actually, you need to import the use form hook, which will be available from React hook form. So this hook, we will use it. So first of all, we need to actually extract all the methods which are available in this hook, which is your use form hook. So there are various functions. First function is register. The second one is handle submit, which actually executes whenever you submit your form. And then actually your form state. What is the form state? And it will actually be, we will interested in the errors. So validation errors, if user doesn't write anything, then these errors are pre-built. So now to use this, first of all, we also need to keep track of the loading bar, loading progress bar. For that, we need to declare a Boolean parameter, which is loading set is loading. Initial value will be false. So you'll be using the use state hook. So initially when you load the page, the progress bar will not be shown. So now when you submit the form, then we will change this value from false to true. So right here we need inside your JSX, we will actually have a div. So I have just written custom CSS, which in my app.css file. So I will just import that. So we have written some custom styles here. So this video is not about CSS, so all the source code is given in the description. So in the JSX, I will just give these custom classes form container. So inside this, we will have an h2 heading, which will say React hook form with spinner. And then we'll be having a simple form right here and giving a attribute which is on submit. So this attribute will execute whenever you submit the form, and we will actually execute this function, which is handle submit that we are getting. And it's actually a function, and here we will provide our own custom function which we will define. So right at the very top, we need to define this function on submit. So right here, this makes just make this function as async, and your data will be available to you by default in this function. So this data will be actually be containing information about the form. So whenever you submit this, so right in the form itself, we will have a two input fields. We'll wrap this inside this class group form group, and we'll have a simple label. We will have the name field and input type text, and give it an ID here to this, and we'll basically be registering this using the register method dot register. And here you need to give it the name property, so I'm just giving it as name. And the second property it takes in this is your required, what validation message that you want to show if the user doesn't write this field. So I will just say name is required. So this is, we are just registering this inside. If you see, we are using this function register from this use form hook. So we're registering this input field, and there is this error message. If the user doesn't write, it will not show this validation message. So we are doing the two things at one time, and then we need to also give it a class name of form input. And same thing, if you want to show error messages right here, if the user doesn't write this, so we will show these error messages coming from errors dot name. Then we will inside your paragraph give it a class name, which is all these classes we have defined in the CSS. So it will dynamically be giving the errors dot name dot message. So these errors are coming from the form state, if you see. So all this is pre-built inside this library React hook form, which makes it easy to do the form validation as well. So now after this, we will repeat this for the email field. So I will just copy this and paste it, and here I will replace email. So input type here will be email, ID will be email, register here will be email, and that's all that we need to do. After this errors dot, this is your email, because the name parameter here you given is email, so that's why we need to replace it. Then after that we will have a simple button. So this button basically will be responsible for submitting the form. So button type submit, and we're giving a class name to it of submit btn, and disable attribute I will give, which is actually your boolean parameter. So depending upon the value of is loading, sorry, this is your, this is loading, so I will just put the whatever is the value, depending upon the button will be disabled. So now here the text of the button will also change. So if the value of the loading parameter, which is a boolean, is true, in that case we need to show the value, we need to show the spinner. So here we will simply give it a class name, which is spinner. And if the value is false, in that case we need to show the value, which is submit. That's all. Conditionally we are rendering the spinner right here. If you see loading progress bar, if the value is true, in that case we need to show the progress bar. So if you open your application, you will see it is saying unexpected token. Just wait, I think this is a register. So this parenthesis is not required here, and it will require here. Also make this change right here. So now if you don't write anything, click the submit button, you will see the errors will pop in. Name is required, email is required. If you write the name, the error message will go, and then if you click submit, the progress bar, loading bar, if you click submit, span tag, I think for the spinner, yeah, for the spinner, when you click the submit button, this function executes because we are binding this handle submit. If you see, for showing the spinner, this function will execute, and first of all we need to set the value of set is loading from false to true, and then we need to simply console log the message that form is submitted, and you'll get this data when you submit the form, and then you'll be simply be executing this function. You have a new promise, you'll use a set timeout function, and after 2 seconds we will just resolve the promise. So this is resolve, and here put a comma, and then it takes the time period. So after 2000 millisecond, which is after 2 seconds, you will show the progress bar. So again will be set is loading to false, and we will simply be saying alert form submitted successfully. So this means that for 2 seconds we are showing the progress bar. After 2 seconds, then this alert statement will show that form submitted successfully. So if you refresh, if you don't write anything, you will get this error messages for form validation. If you write something, for 2 seconds the progress bar will show, and then you will see form submitted successfully. So in the console you will also get the information that you submitted, which is an object which contains both these informations, what is the name and the email address. So it's a very handy library when it comes to forms. In any application you can use this library of React hook form, specifically for React.js applications. If you are working with forms, it can do a lot of things. It can show your progress bar, it can do form validation, show these error messages, and it's very handy to use, very easy to configure, as you see in this video. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and do check out my website as well, freemediatools.com, which contains 1000 tools regarding audio, video and image. And I will be seeing you in the next video.